This meeting is now called to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Bacon,
Here.
Mr. DeCosta,
Here.
Mr. Lawrence,
Present.
Ms. Lewis, Ms. Martin,
Present.
Mr. Thielacker, President Baoki,
Present.
Mayor DeMarco, Mr. Corbel,
Here.
Mr. Brett,
Here.
Chief Williams,
Here.
and I'm here for now as well.
Okay, we're going to take things. We're going to take things a little bit out of order. We're going to move to public safety first. Mr. DeCosta.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Yogi. I don't have anything to report in terms of our committee or anything this evening, so I'm going to pass it on to Mayor DeMarco for the swearing in of Officer Noel.
It's our pleasure this evening to welcome a new police officer to our meeting. This being Mr. Ellis.
In the center.
So.
Patty, do it in the center.
Stand over. You need the microphone.
No, it's
Would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, Alex J. Knoll, do solemnly swear
I, Alex J. Noel, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the laws and ordinances of the Borough of Forest Hills.
and the laws and ordinances of the Borough of Forest Hills.
And I will faithfully discharge and perform all the duties of my office
And I will faithfully perform and discharge all the duties of my office
as a full-time police officer according to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
as a full-time police officer. I don't remember the last part.
Myself
According to the best of my knowledge
and ability, so help me God.
and ability, so help me God. Very good.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Congratulations.
congratulations.
Welcome again, Alan.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, we'll continue now with our regular agenda. We'll move to public comment on agenda and non-agenda items. At this time, only residents and taxpayers of the Borough of Forest Hills will be permitted to address council on any issue, whether appearing on today's agenda or not. Speakers will be permitted to speak for a maximum of 5 minutes. Groups of people will be required to designate a spokesperson to represent them, who may speak for a maximum of 10 minutes. Speakers are asked to use the microphone at the speaker stand, clearly state your name and spell it, and state your address for the record. If you have any documents to share with council members, you may present them to the borough manager now. Council president will determine how those materials will be distributed and viewed for the meeting. Speakers are reminded that council uses these comment periods as opportunities to gather information and not to respond directly to concerns raised. Information gathered will not be discussed at the meeting, but instead will be referred by the council president to the appropriate committee for review and discussion at the next committee meeting. If it is not a matter for deliberation by a committee, but requires more immediate attention, it will be referred to the borough manager, who will respond by phone and or email within 5 business days following this meeting. Do we have any speakers?
Bill Tomasic on 4010 Wood Drive. As you know, I filed a complaint about the poor quality of this sound system. I have friends that have been trying to watch the film, the video on TV, and they're aghast at how bad it is. You're welcome to watch it on your own, file a complaint. I noticed you did some work on the windows out here. I believe you used the building fund to do so, some wrap. So I suggest that you look into getting some money to upgrade the sound system because it's terrible. One. I can put my mouth anywhere you want me to, okay? The problem is, no matter what I do, if we come close, side as speakers do, it still comes out awful. Watch the video on TV. Tracy. Number one. Number two, Dawn Medeiros, who's my neighbor, was up here last week. She attested to the fact that the three of us, she, my neighbor Ted, and myself, actually cleaned up the borough street, so that we could get electrical service back. No thanks to anybody here sending the crew out, which I know they did. All right, help us clean that up. And again, if somebody has some kind of evidence that what I'm saying is not true, do me a favor, present it to everybody in public. Which leads me to number three. Back on February 18th, Ms. Martin made a statement about the issue involving a change in the procedure with committees. At that time, I was completely unaware of it because I know that if it's 5, they had come to look at the meeting. And then I was shocked when I was invited and uninvited in the same morning because of this new policy that I had never heard was in. Now, you at the last meeting went backwards and now you officially made those minutes to the meeting that she made reference to. Problem I have is that when she made that statement, because I had no proof of evidence, I researched 25 and later researched 24. All that stuff came up empty. All the right to know requests. Again, came up empty. Your solicitor can attest to that because it probably cost the borough money to perform that exercise. Now I find out that there are 4 of you that same meeting that she made reference. Bacon, Bianchi, DeCrosta, and Lawrence. In fact, Lawrence led the discussion for 10 minutes. But for 7 weeks after prompting, sending emails, asking for verification, not one of you, with this listener, or directly to me in email, in any way, shape, or form, verify that you were there and you knew that it took place. Mr. Lawrence was the guy who led the conversation. Yet at that same meeting, he sat there and made reference to, well, we have some more participation. Never addressed what she said. Did not support the fact that what she said is accurate. So what kind of game are we playing here? I'd like somebody to explain why this code of silence for 7 weeks and all that time and all that money, when all you had to do was say, I was at that meeting. I can verify and attest to what she said is accurate and true. But you didn't do that. What's going on? Sort of remind me when I'm called to try to get the public works to come over and remove the debris from a borough street. Not private property. You saw the pictures. You had to remove from the borough street the debris so that we can get our power from that. If you have that, and I still have the units. Okay, now I've taken, I can tell you right now that this is very upsetting to not only me, my neighbors. They're a little bit weary of coming in front of you guys. Okay, and I don't blame them. Okay, but this has got to end. You've got to have open government. You've got to act ethically, and you've got to stop this petty, personal, vindictive stuff. Because I know what's going on. Yeah, that's right. Okay, go back and think about what's said at the various meetings. So I'm going to say again to you. All right. I'm going to continue on this until someone apologizes for what they didn't do. What you should have done. Because it doesn't represent open, honest, and transparent government. So I don't know how, why do we give up the your ethics to do this? It should be vital. Okay, and I wait for any one of you to say why you did it this way. 7 weeks of silence. How? Thank you.
Do we have anyone else?
Hi, I'm Joel Lucas from 133 Cherry Valley Road.
I think that moves.
Oh, it was-
Yeah, there you
like
go.
that. There you go. We came out to basically say thank you for all the people that came and saw the street. We had a great team building exercise. The neighborhood really actually all got together, we compared notes and we all got to go into each other's backyards. So that's a big, was a big deal. We thank you for sharing the plans. If you want to bring your paddle boards next time. And if you don't have one, I'll get one. So, and we're just here to hear like any update on like schedules, bids, or full time. So, but I really wanted to say thanks. So, yeah, you were there, Barbara, and just everybody. Oh,
And what, she's not here.
oh, and then Andy, right. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Nope. Okay, we'll move on with the operations and policy. Mr. Lawrence,
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 2 motions I'm very pleased to be able to read. One, I move to approve a memorandum of employment between Crystal Watt and the Borough of Forest Hills with an effective date of May 26, 2026.
Second.
any comments or discussion? Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bacon,
Yes.
Mr. DeCosta,
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
President Pelkey.
Yes. Motion passes.
I move to appoint Crystal Watt as Borough Manager and Borough Secretary effective May 26, 2026.
Second.
Comments or discussion? We have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bacon,
Yes.
Mr. DeCosta,
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
President Pelkey.
Yes, motion passes.
I have 3 recommended motions to be put on the business meeting this month. One, appointment of Rebecca Glasso to the Arts and Cultural Advisory Council as follows. Appointment of Noah Riley to first term as member of the Environmental Advisory Council as follows. Authorization for the solicitor to prepare and advertise an ordinance accepting with TCVCOG amended bylaws approved by TCOG board on April 23rd, 2026. And to include on the May 20th meeting. Any objections to those proposed motions? Yes.
No objection, we just got a question if there's any note changes you would like to note for us on the bylaw amending.
My only comment is that the May 20th meeting may be an issue with respect to advertising requirements.
Oh,
See if we can.
okay,
It may be June,
all right.
certainly before June 30th, which is their requested deadline. That's what's up.
So number 3 is pending. We're okay with that?
Yes.
So let's see. One thing to go over today, take a couple minutes here, at the last meeting in April. I'm talking about the committees. Members have been allowed to open or not open their individual committees. This discussion tonight, you asked about some policies to look into how would we handle it if we do open them, if we do open them. So at the April meeting, I said that I would accept that, collect everyone's ideas about how in practical sense we would address opening those small meetings if we went that far. So this is just, and if we do so, I collated things, honestly, everyone gave me lots of ideas, I got phone calls, emails and phone calls. So I will just list them in the order, in no particular order. I do, number 6 is one I think is very important, so they're not in particular order. First one, at least one person suggested we pass out basically information about Robert's Rules of Order. That is something everyone on council knows. They are in the present policies to read, so that's kind of taken care of. Second, should the public comments section, or rather the policy regarding public comments, should it include references to inappropriate or violent language is prohibited? It's already in our public comment policy, so that doesn't need to be changed. So there's two things that really exist already. Third, the use of Zoom for these meetings, we already do that. Fourth, this is where most of the ideas came through. Nobody was very, I didn't get terribly specific, but the issue was, do we post these things? Generally, everyone felt that if they wanted to do this, they wanted to post it on the website. The newspapers are expensive and no one looks at them. The Valley Mirror is going away. Then the question came up, all right, if you decide to post your meeting on the website, how far ahead would you do it? Mr. Corbel suggested an absolute minimum of 24, I believe. Practically speaking, one of the advantages of these small meetings is we can adjust them for the needs of the council members. So planning these out months ahead is kind of contrary to what we like to do. And so far, it's been quite convenient for people. A couple days ahead, I need a babysitter, I need to work, we need to reschedule. So my suggestion, again, if you want to look at this, is probably a maximum of 5 business days or a week. That's just a suggestion. No one else really gave me any particular ideas on that. A suggestion was also made, the chair could add their email to that notice if the chair chose to do so. The email address is already on the website. One that, you know, Yoga Lily, that's another option. The other points that were made, somewhat from the solicitor, because these are relatively informal, you may want to consider not posting formal agendas or posting formal minutes ahead of time. It's one thing to send out to you, to colleagues. These are the things that these are issues we want to talk about, but you're free to do whatever you want. There's no quorum. And probably to maintain that informality, we might want to avoid sending out formal agendas and formal minutes. Do you have any thought on that?
Well, I mean, the only comment that I had around that was that that an agenda, or at least topics, if you will, that may be discussed, could inform the public as to whether or not they would want to attend or not. But again, it's not a quorum. The meeting is not subject to the Sunshine Act. So there is no obligation to do so. But my view was that it might be more helpful to do something along those lines. But that's up to each committee, or if you guys are going to, folks are going to make a policy around that, it would have to be addressed in the policy.
Yes.
I know I don't have to vote on this matter, but you tell the public at a meeting such as this, that if they have an issue, that it will be remanded for discussion to a committee. I think it's important at that time to give those people an idea of when that committee meeting might be and how they should find out when it is. And to notify certainly the other committee members and remind the public that that topic will be up for discussion, subject to follow up from the meeting, since we don't discuss them in the committee council meetings. I think it's a little fuzzy as to what the disposition is when someone comes and presents an issue. We don't give them a result on the bench. But if you're going to send them to a committee, I think it's only fair that you let them know what the meeting is likely to be, and make sure that that item is brought up at that time on the agenda.
Okay, that could, all right, that could be part of the agenda question. Fifth, we will obviously, if we go ahead with this, we're gonna have to amend public comment section to be appropriate for committees. Because we can't sit in the committee and say it's gonna be referred to a committee, so we're gonna have to change that somehow, otherwise it's gonna look very silly. That's not a big deal. Finally, again, this is no particular order. There is the issue of safety when you have a very small group like that. And I think that's something we need to discuss probably in the public safety committee, that we need to think about that. How are we going to handle things? I don't want to go any further into that, but that's something I think you may want to think hard about. Okay, that's what I got from everybody. If you want to get down to nuts and bolts, it would be deciding what's the timeline for posting on the website. Do you want to bring up the issues? Do you want to put your email address in there? That was the main focus of the things I got back. Obviously, like I said, you have to amend the public comment speech. Would you like at this point for us to? Give me comments first of all. I'm gonna go around comments. Yes,
Mr. DeCrosta.
Mr. Crosby.
One of the things I mentioned to you was possibly forming a process where people would need to inform us if they plan on attending the meeting ahead of time. At least 24 hours ahead of time, so we can expect them. We know that they're coming, they can tell us what topic they're coming about, we can reserve some time in the relatively short committee meetings. Also, we can give them the choice of coming in person or joining us on Zoom. So there could be a short online questionnaire where they, so and so, I'd like to come discuss flooding in our neighborhood. I'd like to join either way. I think that might help us manage it. We could also decide by committee. If that week there's just way too much to talk about that we can't open it and defer them to the next one or something of that nature.
Thank you. And you did mention that, I forgot, and I think that was something that I think a number of people did mention. And I let that slide, my mistake. Yes.
Thank you. One of my concerns is that the small committee meetings, while we find them to be very helpful, we get to look at public works, we get to look at blueprints, it's very nice. But the one thing I'm concerned about is, and we've been hearing about this for 3 months, I don't want to be in a meeting where there is not a record of it, where it's not taped, where it's not videoed, because then it gets set up as he said, she said, they said, not by everyone, but by a few. And the other thing is, I do have safety concerns. We're in the small conference room. There's nowhere like, I don't want to come to meetings if I have to be afraid. And I'm not going to, because it's just not worth it. So that's the only things I have to say.
Anybody else? Yeah, that's right.
It's not directly related to this, but I would like to know if there's any thoughts on the public listening section idea that we briefly discussed last time, or that is a separate matter from this round of policy discussion.
We can divert to that if you want.
I don't want to divert if there's anything
Oh.
else to still be said, and I think this is more important at this point.
Okay. No, I know Churchill does it, and you said Bradley Hills does it, so. Okay, so here we are. I'm gonna have to make a suggestion where I can make it, okay? I keep saying if we can't decide to reverse a decision. However, what do you say? The committee basically picks these things, puts them down, and then you can look at them and say, given this is how we would do it if we did it, but given a couple of things have been mentioned, then you can make, I think, a more informed decision about whether you do want to reverse what we're doing. Would that work? Sure. Okay. Then you can look at it and think, and I really would encourage you to think about the issue of the safety. I don't want to go into details about that in a meeting like this, but give some serious thought to it. And I've been looking at what other communities do. That's all I'm saying now. Mr. Bacon?
So to clarify timeline, we would not be voting on approving a new policy at the upcoming business meeting. But maybe pretty likely the June business meeting. I think that's a reasonable goal for us to consider.
I'll put something together for the June meeting, and if there's 7 people on council. Those 7 people decide what they're going to do. I mean, it doesn't have to drag on forever. Anything else? Okay.
Regarding listening sessions, if it would help to have the meeting postponed, to take pressure off council, I'd be happy to do that.
And we could point out that the borough manager in the past used to do these things, so maybe the borough manager would then want.
I think the borough manager should do everything
everything.
here in the borough. I think they should be completely responsible for every last thing.
Absolutely. We'll just vote in a monarchy and get this over with. Okay, does anybody have anything else for the option policies? Okay, that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lawrence. Move on to the Finance Committee. Mr. Thielacker is not here. Can someone take that?
Yep.
Mr. Bennett?
Thank you, Mr. President. We do have a recommended motion on here, however, I have to review this matter, say, I think it's really more appropriate that it winds up in the Public Works section of the actual business meeting, so either I could read this out right now and suggest that, or just leave that as Mark, I think when it comes time for Public Works.
I mean, I don't think it makes any difference if you want to just describe what this is for so that everybody has an idea.
Okay, so there is, I would like to put a motion on the agenda for purchasing for our new vent track equipment, the loader attachment, the weigh bar, and then weights that are used to reduce vibration and just make things work better for $6,358. And this is adding several functions to a new piece of equipment that is replacing some positive and ancient tractor equipment that is at end of service life. And that was already approved in the previous month's business meeting. So this is accessories to what that efficiently do several jobs. Other than that, there is no general report from the Finance Committee this month.
Is there sufficient funds to cover the purchase?
If I may defer to Ms. Martin.
Yes, thank you. So we're hoping from, which comes on later, this municipal bid sale of, believe it or not, 1993 and 1997 equipment. They actually both run, and we're hoping to get some money on those to take down the cost of $6,358. However, I talked with our finance treasurer, and in the small parts and equipment fund, there's already $8,000, or the minor machine and equipment, there's $12,000. So we have enough money to cover this, whatever's left from the municipal bid sale.
Thank you, Ms. Martin.
That's it.
On that note, I would add the main vent track purchase was done with the solar credits, which was a one-time fund. We used that to avoid paying interest. And that's going to be our only capital purchase for that until we come up with a real capital plan, proper funding. So that could be, I think, an appropriate fallback if something comes up with small parts and equipment in the next couple of weeks, then would literally set other funding. That concludes finance.
Thank you, Mr. Bacon, and if you will continue with borough property.
Great, thank you. I don't believe we have any recommended motions, however, that may change in the next little bit of discussion. Which we'll get to with our engineer, Mr. Brett, in a moment. Some general project updates. The main part of the bridge is either fully assembled or very close to it at this point, and we'll be getting a concrete Walnut to even it out with the ground on the main park side. The pool, refurbishment of the locker rooms is very close to completion. There was a walkthrough last week with all the contractors that really identified a small number of remaining issues and the almost done. And then the steps and walkways are still nearly complete and waiting on the railings. And so there's any new update on that. Then the DCNR tree grant expansion that I mentioned last month, we heard back from them and we are not able to use that for anything beyond trees. So we're hoping to get some shrubs and a rain garden set of native greenery installed, but those are not potentially covered by that. So we're going to keep looking at the tree aspect. And then if I may call on Ms. Martin, you describe the next item, if you will.
Thank you. Years ago, we started our Save Our Parks invasive plant eradication. We started in the Forest Hills Park, AKA the main park, and it's almost totally eradicated. We just have to do some spot checking. But we've moved on to the Ryan Glen Park. And if anybody isn't doing anything on May 30th, 8:30 a.m., we assemble and chop knotweed and make a big party out of it. You get free water, free gloves. I wish we could offer more, but it was totally a grassroots thing. So if you're not Carlotte from Memorial Day, please come on. Thank you.
I've also had been doing it several years, when it's the subsequent years in the same area, it does get easier, so. We did really hard work last year, it is more of a part of this year. Moving on slightly out of order here from the agenda, we have offered from Jason Marie, who is one of our residents and an employee Bartlett Tree, who was offered to do a public presentation about the results of our borough-wide tree inventory. That will be free to the borough, free to the public. I think the community room would probably be the best venue for that, and we have a suggested date of May 27th. So if council has any objections to that, let's figure something out, because we should get everyone the value results of it. I would assume 7 p.m. would probably be the best, just as far as people expected. And I think we would aim at a similar environment to the deer informational meeting that we had a few years ago, where it's pretty much a presentation and then questions and answer at the end, but it's not focused on council, it's not focused on what are we going to do, it's just purely the public gets the information that we all deserve after all the work and the grant money that went into them. Everyone on board, and I'll see you all there. Free hospital contest optional. Okay, and then final information, as Mr. Brett, if there's anything that didn't cover after this, but the last item here is for the stormwater pollution reduction plan, and it's for that is going to be going to the Forest Woodlawn Park. And Ms. Martin and I went and walked this with Mr. Brett previously. We just received drawings on this, and we've got a couple of options on it. It is a project that does need to be funded through a capital fund. It's not a great project, unfortunately. And the initial plan had a very their central location right at the base of the drainage, just past the playground that you see from Avenue L. It would involve a whole lot of tree disturbance and removal and interrupt that trail that's going up the hill right now. And so we're looking at another option that we don't have plans yet, but this is what we're discussing with Mr. Brett today. We would use a significant portion of the flat grassy area that is next to the playground on the left, if you're looking at it from Avenue L. And that would actually be a very significant retention area, catch a lot of the greater trend area protected avenues, manage the stormwater going into the system. And it would allow us to preserve the more sort of woodland nature of that park instead of carving out an almost acre-sized sweep right from the middle. So we'll have more on that. We'll have some plans to review. And I think we should have a great option for Mr. Brett to cover, who I definitely did not. And see if council has any questions, and then I have a suggestion for some involvement of all our committees to just make sure we're all thinking through all aspects of this too. Any questions from council first?
Yes. I have a question. The pond, is it a retention pond or a detention pond?
It is a pollution reduction pond, so, it's extended detention is the, method that's used in order to hold the water back. And then the sediment drops out of the water, as it sits in there. It'd be water somewhere between 12 hours and 48 hours. Has a fence around it. We looked at two options. The first option was kind of like the maximum we could get up into the wooded area. The second option was we pulled down a little closer to the parklet. And tonight when we looked at it, the most economical and the least disturbance of the woods is if you put an L around the play area, it'd be a fenced in pond. We'd actually excavate it into the ground. That's where the storm sewer is run today, and that's what makes it the most cost effective. So tomorrow I'll have that drawing and be able to send all three options out. The largest option, you get flag, the amount of trees that we remove. It's significant because it goes up into the hillside, the grading, it's expansive instead of on the bottom half. The third option, it'll be the least graded. The first option was the most graded. Because we were trying to stay as far away from the parklet as we could. But in looking at it, it can be used as an educational piece and put the trail wrapped around it and say, okay, this is one of your pollution reduction plans. They usually get a lot of credit for it and doing with that.
And the fencing that'll go around that, is it, how high is that? fence?
6 foot.
6 foot.
Yeah, it'll be, it's flat fencing that would match what's there. Often we try to do, basically, kill two birds with one stone. This happens to be a watershed that the water's completely uncontrolled, and you have flooding downstream, all the way down to Harlem, because of Avenue B has flooding on it. Avenue L definitely does, because if these two pipes fall, the water just runs overland until it gets to the stream down at the park. So it's significant. So if we can put the facility there, it'll help with not just meeting some of your pollution reduction plan, but it'll also help with some of your flooding that you've had to have over the years. There's nothing since we've been here, but over the years it definitely has had to have flooding. So.
Yeah, I was just concerned with the proximity to the playground
Yes.
and having that kind of a water hazard there.
Yeah, we definitely have it so that it is protected.
Okay.
And then for clarification too, it would only have standing water in it briefly after storms. It would generally be fairly dry.
Yeah, it's not going to be about on most weeks of the nothing. It will have water in it, though, different than the ponds from the past. And the water ministry, new methodologies of hold water back. So that's a good. Any other questions?
So we were thinking this might be a good opportunity to energize and involve the Environmental Advisory Council and Tree Shrub and think about the future of that very sort of wooded park and have some sort of participation in trying to think of possible education pieces to this and just general look and feel and public messaging behind it. So I was going to suggest that we have a tree and shrub kind of have this like the focus of their meeting, which is on the 13th. And then if we are comfortable with moving forward of approving the bid at this point,
You would approve the option and then go ahead and finish the plans and put them on.
Okay, so if we are comfortable with approving the option of, putting this out to bid at the business meeting this month on the 20th. That would keep us moving because this is supposed to be completed by September, correct?
Yes.
Supposed to be from a regulatory standpoint, not from our just wanting to.
Will you have drawings of, you know, what the plan is?
Yeah, there'll be 3 options that, I'll send out as a package.
Yeah, I think as long as we have some information to look at and what's really on.
I think it would be worth. If the tree and shrub committee doesn't want to sort of having their meeting a little bit redirected on that day. It would be a good time for us to walk it, because in person it makes a lot more sense than.
Sure.
Like very detailed contour map on here. So if folks are amenable to that, I'm pretty sure they will be, and I can confirm when we can get messaging out. And invite the EAC to do that, because their meeting is the day after the business meeting. We should not hold this up for another month, just for that sort of scheduling level thing. Everyone on board? In general?
Yeah.
Okay. And then with that, I just asked Mr. Brett, any other property items like to mention?
I did include in our memos some photographs of the pool. If folks want to see what it looks like, I think it looks very nice. It was a major improvement for the borough, so we did include some good snapshots of that.
Is there any, Mr. Brett, is there any other update on the Cherry Valley situation?
Yes, so we did open bids at the road program, and we talked about that night. After we met in the field, we did modify the bid documents. There was 2 catch basins that needed some repair, and there was a very old storm pipe in those catch basins. So I did modify the plans to include that in the bid to replace both those catch basins in the pipe. And our last bid come in at $93,846, and even with the additional work, the bid came in $17,000 less than when we bid it with the storm sewer project. We thought that was going to be the case. If we put it in with the roads, we would get a better price than we did because of the nature of the work. So that had all ranking at $76,483. So you got a good price on it for the work. We also did modify the plans with the addendum to include an 8-inch pipe at your residence, and show them where they would connect the 2 drains that were coming out. And then we increased the pipes to 6-inch for everybody along the way, so that they were a little bigger than what the pipes that come out. We try to help that for the folks. So when we discussed the road program with the public works, my suggestion is going to be at our committee meeting, we pare down the list, and if we get to a conclusion that would be included on the business meeting to award, so that Cherry Valley could be first on the agenda for the contractor meeting. So I think we'll be in position because the bids have been extremely well, which I will under contract.
Thank you.
Last thing I mentioned is that the Borough Property Committee meeting is next on the 26th at 9 AM. If anyone is interested in either participating in further questions beforehand, please email me at the address on the website. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bacon. Planning and zoning. Do we have anybody to cover that?
I'm solo on that as well. Do not have any recommended motions. In the general report, there was some concern that there may be something involving the Adam Smasher site that had potentially needed the planning commission. However, Mr. Portman confirmed today that they've not actually submitted the thing that we were concerned about meeting for. So that is all clear. And that is all I need.
Thank you.
Question.
Oh, question.
Do you have any status on the effort to update the comprehensive plan?
I do not.
Okay.
Mrs. Lee. I know Ann's been hoping to reconvene the three committee meeting that I started in my term as planning and zoning, and I know we were waiting for our new manager now that we have Ms. Watt. I'm just a little concerned that we're starting to lose momentum on the the business district revitalization plan. Okay, hold on one second. And I just wanted to, make sure that we were continuing to meet. We had a couple of pro bono consultants that were helping us figure out some things, give us some feedback, some fodder to start making some decisions on and recommendations. So I just, as a committee, I just wanted to pass that on. I just hope that we could continue, discussing that, even though it's not an official committee, it's a discussion group that I think can, benefit us. Yes, Mayor.
We did have, 3 interns from Carnegie Mellon University who worked with us this last semester. Their report is due to me on Friday.
Okay.
And they did give me a web page, which I hope to share with you. To figure out how to open it, which is a business directory for those businesses. I had appointments on Thursday and Friday this week, to verify information with the businesses, let them add their logos, their mission statement, whatever. I'm going to be meeting with 122 businesses in next week. With an intern. We also have hired OHM advisors who have begun their work on doing a master business plan for our borough, as well as a marketing plan assessment. So that will be coming to towards this meeting. And we will update on progress on that. The interns, they give us some suggestions for things that we can do during the year when the consultants are doing their big plan of things we can do immediately. That included pop-up performances in the parking lot outside of Aldi's or down in the Riss area. Having various kinds of things that they thought that we could do in that area. So that for short term, just to get people into, they figured that if 1% of the people who drive through stopped and spent $20, we would make $1 million a month.
I just have one more question. Is there any update on the feasibility study coming out of Forest Hills Community Alliance?
Which one?
The one that they were doing on the business district and
That they did hire OHM advisors. They started working. They have, they've recruited a steering committee that includes businesses, citizens, and, I think you're supposed to be on it.
Okay.
Somebody from council, and either ambulance or you were supposed to be on it. They'll be scheduling a meeting of that group very soon.
Okay.
All right, appears to conclude planning and zoning.
Thank you, Mr. Bacon, for your third committee meeting. Moving on to Public Works, Ms. Mark.
Thank you, President Biden. I would like to have a motion at the business meeting to sell on municipal bid the 1993 and 1997 public works equipment. Any objections? Okay. So we started to look at getting street signs on the unnamed alleys, and we had, as you all know, we had a survey that went out. Well, we have a draft map, but we still have to get some information to Mr. Corbel, is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
And would you expand on that, please?
Yeah, there's a couple of the alleyways that only extend a small distance for what was originally reported. And we think the official map of the naming should include the distance that it's actually improved and not the whole length, because some of them are 150 feet and then what was reported maybe 1,000 feet and never was built. So I think we want to be specific on that so that folks don't think you're going to extend the road. So
When do you think we'll have that by?
I'll have it up. Somebody sent it to me, I have to check it. That's.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I jump?
No. I'll look forward to seeing it. But I also agree with that approach to the street map.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
The street map, was that the review of that, did it include more than just the alleys that we were looking at? Did it look at all the streets that we have? To update that map, that map was from 1970.
Yes, we use the current naming convention that's published. So it's whatever's current, so when you adopt it, that would be your official.
Okay,
I do recommend everybody check it because you have some oddities that you get to that's that.
Anyone else on that? Okay, then moving on. So lastly, we have, I wanted to just report, if we hadn't known before, the roof is fixed on the fire department. So there's no leaks there. But, so we have had some water leaks in the building because of different source. And LSSE has been working on getting, a bid for us to install these grinder pumps. So it looks like we need 2 of them,
Yes.
and they're not cheap. Well, to me, almost 41,000 seems like a lot, but I did check again with our treasurer. And the sewer fund has 25,000 in it, and the general repair source has 30,000. I don't know if you can split that. But the cost to do this would be almost 41,000. We've already had to put over $2,000 in to have that remediated because there was Public Works couldn't even clean that up. So we tried just doing it with a plumber, but then they wanted to have a blueprint or something. Would you please add a little more to this? Help me out.
Yeah, it's a very unique structure, it's expanded over decades. So the original building, the sewers go out the right side from where the community room is, which is odd going uphill and then connects into this system. So that system, the sanitary system, surcharges because of excess flow. And when it does, it comes out the toilets. So you end up with an overflow inside the building. Simultaneous, we talked to the fire department, and where the bays are, which would be some of it the newer part of the building. It runs out to a manhole. It looks like it's a relatively new system that after checking it, dye testing and televising it, it ends up the sewer's no longer connected on that side. So it doesn't go anywhere, but it would connect to the same sewer that surcharges. So our recommendation is because the building is used, if you have somebody having a function there and you get a rain event, if you put just a backflow preventer on, the backflow preventer would shut, folks would be trying to use the facilities and they would flood their stuff. So we recommend, because it's 4 laterals coming out of one building, that the section that's a social hall, that we put a grinder pump on the right side of the building there and connect it into the manhole. And pump in, so no matter what the flow of the building's service works. And then where the apparatus bays are, those 2 laterals connect in as well. So that you don't get surcharging up into where your apparatus is, because you have equipment in there that's millions of dollars. And you don't want that section flooded with sewage. That would be, bad for public safety, obviously. So although it's expensive, it's the only thing I can recommend that will solve the issue for you, so you don't have this any longer. So it definitely is a problem. The fire department explained it to us. It took about 2 months to figure out how everything was connected. Public Works did an extremely good job televising, dye testing, checking the lines. And you've done a good bit of work on this over the years. Different solutions people tried, and this will fix it in the end for you. All the laterals will get connected to the sanitary sewer pump. And the plumbers don't want to bid it unless they got the plan. They were very clear about it. They don't see it on a set of drawings. It has to be a public bid because it's over $25,000. So if you can put this on the agenda, authorize us to put the package together, we'll get it open, over the fall.
Any objections? Okay. Oh, Lisa.
Maybe Mr. Mayor, but what we're thinking is might also improve things uphill where there was that sewage issue off of, that might take, this past year, because it's totally set over, so.
Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, thank you. That ends Public Works.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Anyone having an old business to bring up?
Yeah.
Mr. Lawrence?
Thank you. This is more an observation. We're getting into budget season this summer. We all did agree in November that every committee would, start looking at their spending and evaluate the status quo, see if there's things that we have been doing for years that we should no longer be doing. It's everyone's committee. I'm kind of being mad, I'm sorry, but, we need to look at this. The time is running out. And I gotta say this. When I was elected, I heard I'd deal with a lot of crap, but I never knew it'd be so literal. Thank you, Mr. President.
One in every problem, you know.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence.
You're welcome.
We need a little humor here. Anyone else? Mr. Brett?
If I could give just the road, update as far as the bids.
Sure.
We will talk about it, obviously, Public Works Committee, but, the apparent low bidder was Liberoni. And our estimate was $350,000 for the base bid, and the bid came in about $255,000. So you got a very good bid. He did your work last year, here, along with Wilkins. He also did get, Wilkins. So he's in the area working, he's working for the Water Authority. Avenue B came in, last bid was $128,000, they came in at $70,000. So you got some extremely, good bids, for the works. The bidding already worked, well this year. We got you a little better pricing, so, we'll discuss all this in the order at the Public Works meeting, but, I did want you to know you did get a good bid and had, a number of people that bid on the project, so.
Okay, great news. Thank you, Mr. Brett. Anyone else? Okay, new business. I believe, Mr. DeCrosta has something to bring up.
Yeah, so Chief Colella, fire chief, has informed me that, Allegheny County has approved their hazard mitigation plan. So now, municipalities are approving that in the form of a resolution. He sent me a copy of the resolution. I'd like to get it on, the May 20th meeting if possible. I'll send everybody a copy of the resolution. Do you have a copy of that, Mr. Corvo?
Yes, I've seen it elsewhere.
You've seen it, so, okay.
It's the same as it always is.
Yeah, that's what I figured, so it's just a matter of us,
You should-
officially with that.
That's right.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure everybody was informed of that, and we'll, get that sent out to you and, on the next meeting. That's all, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, our next council meeting, is scheduled for Wednesday, May the 20th at 7 p.m. This meeting will be adjourned unless there are any objections. Hearing none, the meeting is now adjourned.